Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? This is your boy Isaac.
And this is your boy Bryce.
And we are brothers on tennis. And folks, we have come to the end of yet another Wimbledon Championships. Wimbledon 2021 has concluded. Bryce, I'm kind of sad. How you feeling, brother?
Yeah, I mean, for all the upsets that happened that were upsetting to me,
Right.
it still ended up being a pretty good tournament, I thought.
Yes.
With some very interesting storylines.
Yes.
And especially considering we didn't have Wimbledon at all last year. It was good to have it back this year. Yeah, it felt like it went longer than 2 weeks, but but congrats to all the winners as we talk about them tonight.
Yeah, man, it was such a crazy tournament, but a lot of good things, came about, and we saw the rise of one champion, meeting or finally kind of hitting her goals, and the continued rise of yet another.
Mm-hmm. And some other people,
Yes.
really represented as well. And it's going to be great to talk about all of these. So, let's do how we normally do. Let's kind of start, with, some of the, maybe lesser known, events. We won't go through all of them, but
Right.
the ones that we typically talk about, we do like to talk about the quad championship, quad wheelchair singles championship, largely because of Dylan Alcott from Australia, and he won again.
He won yet again, man. I mean, he is definitely on a run. I forget the young lady's name who basically retired undefeated. I think it was Vera.
I don't remember her name.
I always forget her name, and I apologize to our listeners for doing that. But she was incredible and was just on some silly winning streak.
Right.
When she retired, and it looks like Dylan Alcott is trying to do similar things, man. He is just collecting those titles left and right, man.
Giving Schroeder 2 hoe biscuits in the finals.
Exactly.
He wasn't playing around. He was like, I ain't gonna be here for a long time, but I'm gonna be here for a good time. And 2-2 got in and got out and said, let me wheel myself back to the locker room.
Right.
And it is going to be done.
Done. So that was an incredible showing on his part, and again, just glad to see. Glad that they held the event, because sometimes they get a little bit iffy on the wheelchair event and the quad wheelchair events. So I'm just very happy that Wimbledon did have that draw and those winners. So kudos to Dylan Alcott.
All right. Now let's take it to the mixed doubles finals, where the home country should have felt real good about this. 3 of the 4 participants were from the UK.
They were straight up repping, Bryce. I was like, all right, y'all better go and get it, Britain. It was kind of interesting, because when I watched the final, I was kind of waiting to see kind of who they were going to kind of get behind. And it did seem like they were behind Salisbury and Dart a little bit more, just because they were full on Britain. Whereas Skupski and Krajcic, yeah. Krajcic is an American, and Skupski, of course, was from Great Britain. So they were giving them some love, but definitely not as much as Salisbury and Dart, at least from what I could hear.
Right.
But they really, I thought, played a very, very good final. I felt like Skupski and good Lord, Krajcic, whatever.
Krajcic?
I felt like, Krajcic. I felt like they actually played the better game. I felt like Dart's serve was a little bit vulnerable, and they were definitely attacking it in the first set. They weren't quite getting on top of it in the second set, but I just felt like they played a really, really nice match.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually did not see the match, but when I saw, because I was out and about, and when I saw the score, I was like, oh, they gave him a whole biscuit in the first set. And then in that second set tiebreaker, gave him a breadstick in that tiebreaker.
They ran away with that tiebreaker. So yeah, it was really a good final. So happy always for Skupski. He's, I think you're a big fan of his, the Skupski brothers,
right?
And so yeah, I was happy to see him get a title. So that's cool, and always nice for an American to bring something back.
Right. And I saw that Jack Sock apparently is really, really good with Neil Skupski, so he gave him a big shout out on social media.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was good. So congratulations, American and Brit, for that mixed doubles. Now, talking about a good final, let's jump to the women's doubles final.
Right.
And that's where we had the number 3 seeds, Elise Mertens and Shea Sway, against the surprise new team of new mom, Vesnina, and your girl, Isaac, Cooter.
My girl, Cooter Matova.
Went to 9-7 in the third set, but there was a whole lot that happened before that, right?
Bruh, them ladies were out there fighting. They was scrapping. I mean, that was such a good match, man. And it was back and forth, and you really thought that Vesnina and Cooter just were going to run away with it. But Shea Sway was like, listen now, I got my long ponytail.
we got weaves and Taipei now.
Listen, right? I got my herb done, and we ready to scrap. And Elise Mertens was like, yes, we ready to get this going. And they were battling, bro, because they literally should have been out of that match. They really should have. But kudos to Shea Sway in particular for holding her own and just that creativity that she has, man. It was amazing, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought, like you said, the Cooter and Vesnina were going to run away with it, especially considering after taking the first set, and then they had a lead in the. I mean, well, they served for it.
They served for it. Yes, I mean, it was 5-2 or 5-3, 1-2.
Yeah, they served for the match and didn't get it done. But look, we know Elise Mertens and Shea Sway. I guess you got to throw Vesnina in there. They are all previous number 1 doubles players in the world. So, and Cooter was really the new one, but I felt like she comported herself well.
She did. She really did. I thought she played well. She played aggressive. I liked, that she was taking the ball. She was taking the ball at folks. And I was like, yeah, girl, play your game. Play your game.
So, I mean, that was an incredible final.
Yes.
And congratulations to Mertens and Shea Sway. They both are not new to Grand Slam titles and doubles, and they kept that puppy rolling.
They sure did, man.
So now let's go to look. Coming into Wimbledon, there was only one thing we absolutely knew for sure. Just absolutely knew. And we called it from day one, and we called it again on day 13, and that was the men's doubles final.
That's exactly right, bro.
And Isaac, you just take it from here.
It's ridiculous how dominant Mektic and Pavic are right now. It's really, really scary, to be very honest with you. Because wasn't this like their 8th title on the year?
Something like that.
I mean, some folks don't even make 8 titles like in their entire career. These boys then already got 8 titles, and it ain't nothing but July. We're not even done with half the season, and they have 8 titles. They are driving folks like that. And mind you, they lose like 2 finals?
Yep.
So, I mean, these guys are just they are literally on fire. And I know that they are like catching lightning in a bottle with the fact that they like, we've never played together. And who would have thought that we would have had this type of chemistry?
Exactly. Even the commentators were saying they were surprised that they hadn't before,
Right?
both being
It's
from Croatia
from Croatia.
and both being, so good. And, I didn't know, it was good hearing some of the history because I did not know that Mektic had really tried as hard in the singles as he had. I didn't
Yeah.
really remember seeing his name a lot, and maybe that's why he
That's
went to the doubles.
right.
But he is a beast in doubles.
Yes, he is.
And
Yeah.
Pavic is, I mean, they are such a good, look, I said it at the beginning of Wimbledon. I said, let the engraver go ahead and start putting their
Just put
names
their name.
on the
Yeah.
wall. And I'm saying the same thing for the Olympics. Just go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and set them gold medals aside for the men's doubles. Keep them in a nice spot.
Just keep them in a nice warm spot for them because they're gonna be coming to get them.
Yeah.
I mean, they are just on fire right now, bro. I don't see anybody being able to give them a challenge. The only people that will beat them is themselves. If something stupid happens, like when Djokovic hit the ball lady at the U.S. Open last year, that literally would have to be the case for them because they are just putting everybody on straight blast. And and that's just the normal tour, Bryce. I mean, when you go to the Olympics, you have to play. So a lot of these partnerships that we're seeing won't even be in place because again, they're not from the same country.
Right. Like the finalists, Gonayer and Zabalos.
Exactly.
They're not,
Argentina and
Spain. So they can't play together.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, literally the top teams are all a mismatch from a country standpoint. So they're going to be just overwhelming favorites to get the Olympic gold. And I hope they do it. I hope they keep it up because they seem like the nice guys and they're just out there competing and just getting it done. So,
and you know what else is good?
What's that?
They both already caught the Rona.
Exactly. So they already been through that.
So they walking into the Olympics like Beyonce. They strutting. They like, I know y'all all talking about y'all being concerned and stuff. We good.
We good. We done already been there, done that.
Been there, done that. So we good. But no, congratulations to them, not only for this title, but for the absolute amazing season they are having this year.
Yeah, I am I'm hopeful that they will the marketing powers that be put what they should behind these two because now that the Bryan brothers are gone, they really do need another face, if you will, for doubles. And given that these guys are both from Croatia, I think that they should definitely be considered.
I agree.
Yeah.
And they seem to be two really nice guys as well, especially on social media. So
right. So
all right,
man.
Well, let's keep it moving, and we'll take it up to the women's final.
Yes, sir.
And let me tell you what. Okay, so I'm gonna just tell you these changes I went through during this match.
Yes.
So at first I'm like, okay, Barty gonna come out here and drive Pliskova. I mean, that was just my general thought of what was about to happen.
Right.
And then when she was like halfway through the first set, and she was on pace for getting a golden set.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, this is exactly what I thought. She gonna drive her." And then, but Pliskova, she kind of comes back a little bit, and Barty makes a few errors toward the end. So she wins the first set, respectable 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm thinking, okay, now Barty's really about to tighten screws. We about to get here, out of in 2 sets because I'm trying to go to breakfast at this restaurant down the road, down the way, and I just, I know they be having like long lines on Saturdays, so come on, let's hurry up and finish this up real quick.
Right.
Man,
I know.
Although Barty won the match, obviously in 3 sets, I give Pliskova so much credit for. So, do you know how many people, with the way that match started, would have just folded up and it had been done?
Right. Yeah, well, let's not forget, like I said, she got double bageled not more than 2 months ago. So she's been on that end of having some type of a run that way where she was just like, I can't do nothing.
Well, and maybe she learned a little something from that
Right.
because
Right.
she never lost composure.
Right.
Because you can never tell what she's feeling anyway. She's always kind of like Alice the Goon out there, right? And so you can't never really, tell what's going on with her. But she stayed in there and her level rose a bit. And I think Barty did have a bit of a dip,
She
herself.
did. Yes.
And, but hey, that's all part of the game. And
Mm-hmm.
she took that second set and I was like, wow. Okay. Now I said, now they're going to really make me sit down here and watch this third set because at that point I wasn't for sure who was going to win.
Same. Yep. And and I'll just quickly comment because I was like you. I thought Barty was going to run away with it, but you know what made me? And again, this is what happened with Nadal and Djokovic in that match at the French. He had it bageled, and he was going to feed him, and then he ended up letting him get back to not being fed in that first set. And this is the exact same thing that happened. Barty was on a roll when she came out, and when Pliskova got those games back and actually escaped the feeding, I was like, you know what? She about to scratch her way back into this. And sure enough, she did just that. And I was surprised. And like you, going into that third set, I had absolutely no clue who was going to win that match, bro.
Right. And, but I am glad that Barty won it.
Yes.
I actually am liking, because first of all, let's be very clear. Who doesn't like Ash Barty?
That's the thing. I know folks be trying to get they troll on, but I love me some Ash Barty. I love the Barty Party. I have always been a fan of the Barty Party. We talked about this even years ago. When we went to the U.S. Open, we were talking about the Barty Party. So I don't know why folks be trying to trip, but hey, no, ain't nothing wrong with Ash Barty.
No, and I am glad that she is reinforcing that. Mm-hmm. Numbers don't lie. I mean, I'm number one for a reason because I'm putting it down on these chicks, right?
Exactly. I'm putting it down. Boom.
And for her to now have, and I think Chris Everett was saying it, it's weird. There's this big mountain to climb to win a major, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's really this next milestone of not to be a one-hit wonder.
Right.
And so you really put yourself in a different category of players historically, just even after you get that second one, And so, winning the French and then winning the most prestigious of the four, Wimbledon, she's guaranteed Hall of Fame now. And plus having been number one for what is it, like 78 weeks now?
Yeah, it's been a grip.
Yeah. So she's done her thing, but just like we like Barty, I must say there was something about Pliskova in her post-match interview where I felt like she showed more personality. And even when she started to cry, and she was like, I never cry. It was good to see that emotion. And, and we've heard from some inside people that actually she and her sister are really cool people. I mean, they look very stoic and stuff on the court, but socially, personally, they're very personable, cool people. And, so it was good for us to get a glimpse of some more emotion and personality from her.
Can I ask you a question, Bryce? Why do you think she was saying that she didn't want to cry? Because it seemed like even Ash Barty didn't want to show any tears. And I mean, hell, if you look at Roger Federer cry all the time, and everybody love him. I mean, really?
No, I think it's a personality thing. She said, "I never cry." And
so wild.
And I think that's
her marketing people are doing her a disservice because I feel like you said, when you see a player showing a little bit of emotion and showing that they care, that makes them more endearing rather.
Right. And I just get the feeling that she's not comfortable with that. I feel she's comfortable being poker face.
Got it.
That's her natural disposition. And I think her tearing up really showed you how much it meant to her, because she's somebody who we've seen her in all kinds of situations and she hasn't cracked not
Not at
once.
all. No, she'll be down an umpire chair.
Right.
But she ain't gonna cry.
No.
She will tear down the umpire's chair.
Right. So I think that in itself just showed how much it meant to her, and it was absolutely good to see.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, she played a great match. There's no shame in her game. Well, that start was a little bit abysmal, but still, she came back and she bounced back and she made it a really incredible final. So she had nothing to hold her head down for. She did well. Right. So, like you said, I've earned a little bit more, a little bit more for Pliskova, because typically I don't have time to look her way. But now I'm kind of like, all right, I see you in a little different light.
Yeah, well, recently you ain't had to look her way because she ain't been nowhere. She usually ends up meeting Jessica Pegula in the second or third round, and it's a wrap.
And it's a wrap.
It's a wrap when we get there. I tell you what, though, Sasha looking like he a little more comfortable in that chair up there. If I was Pliskova, I'd sit him down and be like, let me lose to Pegula one more time.
One more time.
Let me lose to Pegula one more time.
Uh-huh. You and David Witt, I don't know what's going on there.
No, but
you need to figure it out.
I hear your strength goes back on tour, so you can go back and holler at her.
Exactly.
Get back with Pookie. So anyway, so let's take it to the men's final.
Let's talk about it, bro. We have a lot to talk about here. Because remember, I was telling you there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to save for vinyl, and we just gonna have to talk it out here.
Let me start with this. Let me just get this out before we even get into this match. One of the funniest things I heard today.
Okay.
Whatever reporter just even had the nerve to open their mouth to even repeat this without, the producer just had to roll their eyes. Everything.
Okay.
Now, we know how Djokovic is. And obviously we're about to talk about him winning this Wimbledon Championship and this whole journey for the Golden Slam and all that kind of stuff. Did you hear the report today, Djokovic talking about it may be 50-50 him going to the Olympics?
I don't know what these kids are talking about. 50-50.
Anybody that knows anything about Djokovic, if Djokovic has to start walking to Tokyo right now,
you better know.
If they close off all forms of transportation, and he was like, the only way you can get there from England is to walk and to swim.
he will be walking and swimming.
He heading out tonight.
Yes.
Because the Golden Slam is the absolute toughest thing to do in the game of tennis, period.
Right.
And he is 3/5 of the way there.
Yep.
There is no, wait a minute. You talking about scared of Corona? Do we forget the Corona for Everyone tour? This dude was having tournaments and turning up and girls with clear heel shoes and doing the most in the face of COVID. Like COVID don't scare this man.
No, please. Are you serious? He already had it.
Remember, he gave his whole family COVID. He was like, y'all gonna get it. We ain't taking that nair shot for no kind of what? Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Well, I'm trying to tell you, he is not. So this whole is 50-50 that he's gonna go to the Olympics.
No,
y'all can miss me with that. Y'all need to go ahead and tell some. Shoot, y'all need to just go ahead and tell that lie to somebody else. That's exactly like you talk about when he be on matches, act like he can't keep his balance.
I'm trying to tell you.
That's all that is. He just
that's all that is.
He wants somebody to beg him to go. He wants somebody to beg him to go.
That's all it is, friend. You know that's what it is. Djokovic is not trying to miss nobody Olympics. He ain't trying to miss nobody U.S. Open.
No.
He's trying to get this. He's trying to get this Golden Slam. Do not get it twisted.
No,
not at all. And honestly, I'm hard pressed to find somebody who's gonna stand in his way. To be very honest with you,
I know. Now here's my little hope. Here's my little hope. Okay, is that the Olympics for the men isn't it best 2 out of 3?
Yes.
That is my hope for Medvedev on hard court with him.
True. Yeah,
that
there's a couple of them because Zverev could get him as well. At best 2 out of 3 if he's.
I'm about to say, and apparently Tsitsipas can get a good,
right
2-0 start on him.
So there are definitely more opportunities for that upset to happen. But as far as the slam goes, I'm thinking it's going to be hard to get 3 out of 5 from him, even if you Medvedev.
Right.
I just feel like he's definitely turned up right now. He knows what's up, and so this what I'm gonna say. Because I didn't tell you I got a lot to say, and I
want you to go ahead and do your thing, man. So just go ahead and do your thing.
I'm gonna say this, and I know we got we are taping this, by the way, folks. If you're listening to this as a podcast, we're taping this in Green Room. We do have a couple people out in the audience area who are listening. Couple 3 ladies here. Hi, ladies. Hope y'all are doing well. But I'm gonna go and put this out here. I honestly feel like Djokovic is, as much as we were talking about Djokovic is hunting down Nadal and Federer, I honestly don't think that was the case. You know who I think he was going after? Serena and Margaret.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I honestly believe that because, and if you think about this, when you think back, remember when they had all the controversy about the ladies' matches and, how them playing 2 out of 3 versus the guys playing best 3 out of 5? I'm pretty sure Djokovic was on the side of, hey, we play more, the men should get more profile, blah, blah, blah. I'm almost certain he was on that side of the coin. I think in Djokovic's head, he wants to be the top dog. Period.
I would not doubt it. I would not
Period.
Doubt it. Why would he limit himself to just the men?
Exactly. I honestly believe his goal is to get to 25. So that way he can be like, you know what? I'm the greatest of any of y'all. And remember, Serena has come out on many occasions. And who has she called the GOAT? Roger Federer. So that has to put a little bit of stank in his draws.
And there have been many times I've heard in the media when we talk about the big 3 in their whole race, they have reminded that Serena had more than them. And I'm sure that wasn't missed on Djokovic. So I think you're absolutely right. I think now, and we say this all the time, we typically don't like to compare the women's game to the men's game because you really shouldn't do that. But in terms of how Djokovic, his mentality, how he thinks, yes, exactly. I totally agree with you. 25 is his magic number. And knowing Djokovic, he probably wants to try to really put it out of reach.
Exactly.
Djokovic can get to 27, 28. He
will do it. He will try and do it. I honestly believe that, Bryce. I literally believe that there was a shift, and I think that he is like, you both are no longer my target because I know I'm going to get y'all. Because, again, thinking in terms of Djokovic's mentality, I think he was like, I'm going to get y'all. I know I'm going to get y'all. But you know what? I want to be considered the greatest, period.
Ever. Yes.
Ever. So all the ladies, y'all up there with your little 23, 24, no. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. And I'm telling you, Bryce, I really feel like that's why it's been a little bit more, I don't want to say easy, but mentally, that's why he ain't been stressed as far as getting to 20 and tying Roger and Nadal. Because he's like, bitch, you're not my target.
Right.
You're not who I'm going after.
Right.
and you just got to, as like I said, as much as the off court stuff, and we look at him and he's just like, ooh, you so crazy, and all this turning poison water to wine and all this other craziness
Right. Yeah.
if you think positively, poison water will be okay and you can drink it. Just dumb
Right.
stuff. As dumb as all that is, on the court, that fool is a beast.
He is.
Because he grabbed a hold of Berrettini and was like, ain't nobody scared of you. Now you might scare Felix and you might scare some of these other next geners,
Right.
but you ain't scaring me. And the tactic, Bryce, I have to say, I was completely impressed with his tactic, because he went in there basically like, we are not going to play this slice backhand game.
Right.
You slice backhand, I slice backhand, you slice backhand, I'm coming in on your next shot.
Yep.
We're not going to go back and forth. And that's where like Felix and all those other guys, they were playing that slice game. Djokovic was like, we are not doing that today. I'm about to expose that backhand.
I mean, it was insane. And I don't know I can't remember what the final numbers were, but his winning percentage of coming to the net was some ridiculous number.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Here it is. I just found it. Net points won. Yeah, he won 34 of 48. 71% of the time he came to the net, he won the point.
Crazy. But again, that's what he needed to do. He had that in his repertoire, and that's what he did. It's like I said, bro, it's amazing. I got to give the dude his credit. I got to give him his due. He is ridiculous when he gets on that court. And, you saw the nerves starting out the match from both of them, actually. You saw them double faults, and you saw some tricky forehands. And to me, the first few games of the first set were just not good tennis. But once they settled in, this was a good match. It was a good match.
It was. And I like Berrettini.
Yep.
And I made this comment before, and I'm really not trying to be disrespectful, but there are some times I just need him to be a little smarter on the court.
Right.
To me, there's just some times when he just is like, he gets very Homer Simpson on me on the court. And I need him to, because he's got the physical gifts.
Yes.
We talk about this all the time. There's so many players that got the physical gifts. And he's not like mentally weak, because he's a fighter and he, all that. But I'm speaking from a tactic standpoint. Sometimes there are certain shots, or maybe even shot selection, I should say. There are certain shots he hit, and I'm like, really? And when and do you notice how rare you ever say really on a shot from the big three? They may miss a shot, but it ain't because of like, why are you hitting that?
Like, why you hit that shot? Exactly.
Right.
Rare, very rare if ever.
Right. So, and I recognize, I don't know how old Berrettini is. What is he, 24? Something like that?
25, I believe.
25. Yeah. So, I guess he is kind of older for a tennis player, but I mean, maybe he'll continue, because I mean, he'll continue to develop in that capacity.
Right.
But, he's. And I knew for him to have any chance of winning, I know he needed to have won that first set.
Right.
Which he did. Which he did. Because he let an opportunity go in the first set. But then, just Djokovic didn't waste no time in that second set.
He did what Djokovic does. He locked in and said, okay, you took that first set. And I even heard a commentator say that it actually relaxed him when he lost the first set. And I was like, that's backwards.
Yep, I heard that. Right.
It's like you typically supposed to get more stressed when you lose, the first set. But for him, he was just kind of like, okay, got that out of the way. Now let's really get to business.
Right. So
crazy.
And to be very honest with you, from the second set on, I thought it was a fairly routine
Yep.
victory for him. I mean, there would be moments where Berrettini would have kind of a moment and you would think, okay, because he would get down these breaks and then it would look like he'd have an opportunity to break back and you try to get hype behind him and then it wouldn't come through. And yeah, I mean, I started multitasking during those last couple of sets because it just, I felt like the writing was on the wall. Shout out Destiny's Child.
There you go.
I just felt like the writing was on the wall. And,
Yeah.
it just, Djokovic, look, it goes back to everything that you've just said. I might not care for the guy. And that's my personal right not to. But you gotta respect what he's done in the game. And,
Absolutely.
he's, like we were singing, I'm gonna make you love me. I mean, you can, and like we're even saying with Ash Barty, the numbers don't lie. I mean,
That's right.
He is the one as it relates to right now, men's professional tennis, because if you think about it, even with all of them being at 20 right now, he has most of the tiebreakers.
Exactly. He owns best head to head. He has more masters, the Master Series twice, won all of them twice. And
all
he's
the majors
won all of the
twice.
Grand Slam, the majors twice. So absolutely.
And
he's on
one,
top
the weeks
right
at
now.
number one.
Weeks at number one. Yep.
I mean,
and Bryce, this was the thing for me. I think I have honestly made a big mental shift as it relates to just this whole GOAT thing. And I really wanted to commend you and just really throw out some kudos to you when you talked about, again, it's about the big three. And I think each one of them, you said, will be known for their specific contributions, if you will, as GOAT. Right. Again, Roger will always be the people's GOAT, simply put, or at least the majority.
Right.
I know there are some people that, in fact, I know, Mama Nancy is like, Nadal is her dude. So you've kind of got that aspect of the people's champ will be kind of Roger, Rafa. Definitely the king of clay is Rafa, no question. Yes. I don't care if Djokovic beats him, for the next remaining. It does not matter. You do not collect 13 French Opens and not be considered the king of clay. So he's got that undisputed. And then you've got, again, Djokovic, who from the numbers
on lock
is got it on lock. So for me, I don't know that I'm, and you, I know you probably are going to try and reach through this phone and slap me here. I personally am kind of looking, now that Djokovic has won Wimbledon, I want him to win the U.S. Open. I do. As weird as that sounds, again, not a fan of his, but I want him to win it. Because of the fact that it's such a ridiculous accomplishment to get a calendar slam, much less a golden slam. I want to see it. Okay. I really do.
Okay. I saw Steffi do it. I'm good. I will, I'll take a first round loss by Djokovic to Andre Seppi. I don't care. It's good. No. I watched Steffi do it. It was cute, and I'm good. So, so there we go.
Said it was cute. That was good.
I am good.
Oh man, I hear you. I got you.
But overall, what he's done, but I acknowledge what he's done, but
Yeah, because for me, bro, Roger, like I said, Roger will always be my GOAT. There is just, Djokovic can get the 30 for all I care. Roger will always be my GOAT. Right. So for me, it just, and that's kind of the conclusion I came to is regardless of what Djokovic does, it's not going to change me. It's not going to change my perspective on who I feel the GOAT is, because I lived through those years where Roger was just, I mean, just playing with folks, kind of like he's playing like a cat plays with a toy. I mean, he was doing some things that were just so hilarious and so ridiculous. And again, you see Djokovic doing these. He's dominating in a very different
way. Right. Yeah.
A very different way. Right. So anyway, I'm blabbing a lot, but again,
no, it's good.
Yeah, it's just it's weird when you just sort of your whole perspective on certain things change, you know? And it just
Well,
has. I've
and,
shifted.
but you know what? But credit to Djokovic for making you have to change.
Like you said, what's the song? I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
make
make
you.
you love me. Yeah,
That's
that's
it,
what he
bruh.
did. That's what he
That's what
did.
he did.
Yeah.
That is exactly what he did.
Look, y'all, don't be surprised on the next BOT Spotify playlist. You catch you some Supremes and Temptations on there. I think that's almost a guarantee.
I think so. I think
Uh,
so.
but
Oh
yes,
man.
I mean, I know we've been talking a lot about Djokovic, but
Yeah.
kudos to Berrettini for making it
Yes.
to his first major final, for showing that he is a legitimate threat on grass.
Uh-huh.
And, it'll be very interesting to see how he backs us up, not only at the Olympics, but at the U.S. Open, because her court has been a good surface for him as well.
Right. And I'm calling it right now, bro. He will win a Wimbledon. I honestly believe
Uh-huh.
if he keeps his health right, and
Yeah.
throughout his career, I absolutely believe he will win a Wimbledon because again, Djokovic will eventually be on the decline. I feel like his game
Mm-hmm.
is big enough. I feel like, again, he's got a couple of mental growth things like you were talking about that needs to happen. But I definitely see him holding a Wimbledon championship because while the others will continue to grow on that surface, I just feel
Yep.
like his game is best suited for the grass because big serve, big serve, big forehand, and if
Yep.
he can do that, yeah, he'll get him a Wimbledon for sure.
And he has still areas where he can improve on
Yes,
the grass, coming into the net and his net play and the
yes,
backhand. And I think even his movement can still get a little
mm-hmm.
better. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
he could be a beast in the future for real. So Isaac, if we're wrapping up, and putting a big bow on this Wimbledon, what's kind of like your parting thoughts here?
You know, it's of course mixed because going into the tournament, I wanted to see our goats, Serena and
Mm-hmm.
Roger, make it through, and the fact that we
Mm-hmm.
lost Serena, first round early in the match, didn't really even get to see her play, was just really disheartening. And then to see Federer
Yes.
go out, getting fed a bagel, that leaves a relatively sour taste in my mouth, at least.
Right. Right.
So while I didn't enjoy those components, I do think it was still an overall really, really wonderful tournament. I thought the matches were good and competitive. We had some shockers and surprisers. I like that the next gen they're still climbing their way up. I like that
Right.
Berrettini, Shapovalov, FAA. I mean, they to me should really be proud of what they did in this tournament. And hell, Fuchsovich. I mean, the fact he made it to a quarterfinal, good on him, man.
Right.
I just really feel like on the guys' side, they did a lot of good things, and even on and I shouldn't say even on, but on the ladies' side as well. I mean, true enough, Sabalenka did not make it to the final, but you know what? She made it to the semis. Good for
Yep.
you. You're
Growth.
taking you're exactly growth. You're making the right steps in the right direction. So kudos to her. Kudos to our girl Ange Jabeur. Come on now,
Yes. Yes.
love us some Ange Jabeur. Good for her
Right.
making it to the quarterfinals. I mean, just a lot of really good things, man, out of this Wimbledon.
Right.
So unexpectedly for me, those were just some of the again takeaways. And again, Coco Golf still growing, still
Yep.
improving,
Yep.
still
That,
making her mark. And
mm-hmm.
go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I agree with everything that you said. I would just add a few points, kind of back on the men's side. I mean, people forget this was a breakout performance for Medvedev too
That's
at
true. Yes.
Wimbledon. He had never really shown any real, prowess on the grass, and he
Right.
was looking like a true number two seed there
Right.
for a while on the grass. So, the thing that I'm excited about with Medvedev is I think we were kind of like very Osaka on him, like, oh, he's just kind of hardcore.
Right.
I think he has proven to us this year, both on what he did at the French and what he did at Wimbledon. We know he can play indoors and we know he can play on hard. He really is going to be an all-court competitor.
I agree. He's doing Nadal. He's doing what Nadal did for Wimbledon. He's growing. He's adapting his game, and he will continue to adapt it in order to be able to contend. And that's a champion.
Right. Yeah. So shout out to him. Shout out to Rybakina for finding her form again. I mean, these are a couple of right. Here's a couple majors in a row that she's made deep runs, and so she's getting her pre-COVID form back. She need to holler at Monfils.
Right.
But yeah. And then once again, I just want to shout out. I mean, for those, I know people don't always follow what's happening on the doubles court, but what Mektic and Pavic are doing this year is special. And it's really kind of sad that the Rona took them out at the French, because I think we could have been looking at a Grand Slam potentially this year in the men's doubles side.
Completely agree with that. Agree with that.
So, but you never know. Maybe now, because the pressure is off of that, they'll just continue to straight dominate this year,
Right. Hey, man, it's all good. I just want them to keep on doing what they are doing. They're a fun team, and they play some extraordinary doubles, man.
And if Kulhoff think Mektic is coming back after the Olympics,
think again, brother. I think you done lost
just
that
saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. What Lauryn Hill said, you might win some, but you just lost one. Yeah, you lost this one right here. You lost this one right here.
You lost this one right here, yes.
Pavic got all Monica and Brandy on him like the boy's mine. I got him. It's all good.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Oh my goodness. So anyway. So
nice.
Well, next week we'll be back to our regular weekly show. There are some tournaments happening this upcoming week, and we're going to talk about those on our after show on IG. But remember to check us out, every Monday on Green Room at 6:00 p.m. Pacific time, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time, if you want to listen to us record our weekly podcast live.
That's right. Come and join us. It's all good. But please, thank you for listening.
Yep, absolutely. Any final words from you, Isaac, before we shut it down?
No final words from me, brother. I think that we covered everything. This has been a wonderful Wimbledon 2021, and time for the summer hard courts.
Oh, yeah, it's getting good now. The summer hard court series, really looking forward to it. All the lead-up tournaments to the U.S. Open and the U.S. Open. And then even remembering this year in the fall, we have a rescheduled Indian Wells popping off in October. So
that's right.
We got good tennis for a good number of months coming up. So stick with us. We're going to be here to cover it all in the only way we know how to. So on behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. We'll see you next week.